Law number one, money follows value. Money isn't random, it's the reward for solving problems. Wealth is built not on what just excites you, but on what you create that serves others. The more value you deliver, the more dollars will chase you. It's that simple. Think of entrepreneurs like Elon Musk or Sarah Blakely. They got rich by fixing pain points for millions. You want money? Stop chasing cash and start chasing problems to solve. When you help enough people get what they want, you'll get what you want. That's a law of the universe. Law number two, adopt a wealth mindset, not a lottery mindset. Getting rich starts in your head. If deep down you believe money is evil or not for people like me, you'll unconsciously push it away. Newsflash, luck won't save you. 70% of lotto winners blow it, and a third end up bankrupt because they didn't change their mindset. Self-made millionaires, on the other hand, think differently. They believe they deserve success and can learn whatever skills wealth requires. So, not the excuses like, I'm not smart enough, I came from nothing, and replace that with, why not me? Train yourself to see money as a positive force, a tool you can master. Your mind is your biggest asset or liability. Choose to make it an asset. Law number three, purpose over profit, but money in your top five. Money itself isn't the end goal. Freedom, impact, and purpose are. I always say making money is great. It has to be in your top five. It just can't be number one. If you chase only dollars, you'll burn out or compromise your values. Instead, chase a mission and use money as motivation. Think of companies like Patagonia or Tesla, mission driven, but they still prioritize revenue to fund that mission. Here's the balance. Care more about your impact than your income, but respect money enough to plan for it. Money in your top five means you price your product right, you monetize your skills, you track your revenue, because you know profit powers your purpose. When your why is strong, the money follows, and when the money comes, you push it back into your why. That's how world-changing businesses and lives are built. Law number four, pay yourself first. The first bill you pay each month should be to yourself. Before rent, before groceries, invest in your future. Siphon a chunk of every paycheck into savings or investments immediately. This habit needs to become a non-negotiable. Why? Because wealth doesn't come from what you make, it comes from what you keep and grow. It's the classic millionaire habit. Nearly half of self-made millionaires save 20% or more of their income from day one. That requires discipline and delayed gratification, skipping some short-term treats so future you can win. Psychology proves this. The famed marshmallow test showed that kids who delayed gratification ended up more successful in life. The same goes for money. So automate your savings. Treat it like a tax that you owe yourself. If you can't pay yourself, you'll always be paying someone else. Law number five, live below your means. I know this sounds basic, but it's amazing how many people ignore it. Don't spend all you earn, and definitely don't spend more than you earn. Hello, credit cards. The rich stay rich by living like they're broke. The broke stay broke by acting rich. Studies of millionaires show they're frugal. 64% live in modest homes, 55% buy used cars, nearly all of them vacation cheaply, and 84% refuse to gamble with their money. They aren't clipping coupons for fun. They just know that every dollar wasted is a dollar that can't work for them. So yes, reward yourself occasionally, but don't inflate your lifestyle with your income. Grow into your wealth. Don't blow it. As your earnings climb, keep your expenses in check. This creates a gap, the golden gap, that you can invest to generate real wealth. If you've been here before, drop a hashtag Believe in the comments below so I can feature you here in a future video. And if you're new, welcome to Believe Nation, the only channel that helps you believe in yourself daily, one video at a time. Believe. Law number six, avoid bad debt. Leverage the good debt. There are two kinds of people, those who pay interest and those who earn interest. To get rich, you want to be the second kind. Credit card balances, payday loans, buying a Ferrari on finance, that's bad debt. It will chain you down. The average credit card interest will eat your future alive. So here's your rule. Never borrow to buy depreciating crap. Use debt only when it's a tool to acquire an asset that pays you back. In simple terms, an asset puts money in your pocket, a liability takes money out of your pocket. Your home, for example, can be a liability if it's draining cash. Meanwhile, a rental property or business loan can be good debt if managed well because they generate income. The rich strategically use other people's money to multiply their wealth, but they respect the risks and have a plan to pay it off. Be very real with yourself. If the thing you want to buy won't earn or save you money, don't go into debt for it. Law number seven, let compound interest work. Start investing now. Time is your greatest ally or your worst enemy in building wealth. Every day you delay investing is cash left on the table. Why? compound interest, the snowball effect of money earning on top of itself. Albert Einstein supposedly called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. So here's a quick example. If you invest $1,000 at 10%, you'll earn $100 a year. Not bad. But if you reinvest at $100 next year, you earn 10% on $1,100, not just $1,000. That's $110. And now you have $1,210. Keep rolling that over, and in 10 years, that $1,000 turns into nearly $2,600 without adding a penny. All from reinvesting on compounding. Start earning, and it's like planting an orchard instead of a single tree. Don't wait for enough money to invest. Even $50 a month invested now beats $500 a month started 10 years later. Small seeds become giant oaks, but you must plant them now. Law number 8, create multiple streams of income. One stream of income is one point of failure. If that stream dries up, job loss, one client leaves, industry shifts, your financial life sinks. The wealthy know this, so they build boats with multiple engines. It's often said the average millionaire has 7 streams of income. And while your number may vary, the idea is diversification. It could be a side hustle, investments, rental incomes, royalties, a second business, you name it. In one study, 65% of millionaires had at least 3 income streams, and nearly a third had 5 or more. So start with one strong income. This is where most people get it wrong when they're thinking have multiple streams of income. You don't have 7 all from the beginning, because then you will diversify your energy out of any real wealth. So you start with one strong income, master it, and then add another. Each new stream is a layer of security and a force multiplier for your wealth. Importantly, build active income, so business, career, and passive incomes, which is investments and assets. Do them together. Don't rely on a single paycheck or a single customer. Spread your bets and create income while you sleep. Law number 9, make money while you sleep. That's passive income. If you earn only money when you're personally working, you'll never escape the grind. You need income that doesn't require your constant presence. Warren Buffett said it best: if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. And that's not hyperbole, that's reality. Passive income can come from investments like stocks, index funds that pay dividends, rental properties, or from systems that you create, a business that runs without you, or online products or royalties from a product. It usually takes hard work up front to set up these passive streams, so don't think it's free money. But once they're running, they free up your time. Even having a little extra cash trickle in every month gives you breathing room. So imagine waking up to find you earned $100 overnight. Now imagine $1,000 or $10,000. The goal is to decouple your time from your money. Start building something today that pays you tomorrow, next week, next year. That's real financial freedom. Law number 10, never stop learning. The moment you think you know it all, your bank account will prove you wrong. The wealthy are students of wealth, constantly reading, attending seminars, picking up new skills. 88% of rich people devote at least 30 minutes a day to learning through reading. They read biographies, business books, industry news, not gossip, not junk. They treat their mind as $1 million asset that compounds just like money. If you want to get rich, adopt a growth mindset. Invest in courses, find mentors, seek feedback. My core philosophy is believe. Believe that you can learn and improve. And I try to live this. In the early days, I studied Bill Gates and other successful people to model their strategies. And that learning led directly to my big breakthrough. So ask yourself daily, what can I learn today that will make me more valuable tomorrow? Every new skill or insight is money in the bank, just a bank you can't see yet. Stay curious and humble. The more you learn, the more you earn. Also, if you want to take real action after this video, I made a free worksheet just for you. It covers the top lessons from today, gives you space to write your biggest takeaways, and helps you build a simple action plan. It's 100% free. Just click the link in the description below to go grab it. I'll see you there. Law number 11, your network is your net worth. You can't do it alone, and you shouldn't try. The people you surround yourself with will make or break your success. Jim Rohn famously said, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So take a look around. If your 5 closest friends are broke, negative, and complacent, guess where you're headed? Successful people consciously build success circles. They hang out with other winners. One study found the rich intentionally seek optimistic, goal-oriented peers. Why? Because environment matters. Conversations with high achievers will spark ideas, opportunities, and higher standards in you. On the other side, toxic, pessimistic people will drag you down to their level. This doesn't mean cut off loved ones. It means spend time strategically. Find mentors who've achieved what you want. Join entrepreneur groups, mastermind calls, online communities of goal getters. Upgrade your network and you'll upgrade your net worth. It's practically automatic. Remember, birds of a feather flock to the bank together. Law number 12. Don't do it alone. Ask for help and mentorship. So pride and secrecy keep people poor. I learned this the hard way. In my startup days, I was making $300 a month and was too embarrassed to tell anyone how much I was struggling. I thought I had to fake success or go solo, and it nearly broke me. The truth is, successful people ask for help all the time. They hire coaches, they seek mentors, they gather teams of advisors. Ego can be expensive. If you're too proud to admit what you don't know, you will cap your growth. In fact, 82% of small businesses fail due to cash flow problems, often because the founder didn't seek financial advice or delegate when they should have. So don't let that be you. Find someone who has been where you want to go and learn from them. And if you're in a crisis, reach out instead of suffering in silence. Don't do it alone because you'll probably fail. You'll quit along the way because it's too devastatingly lonely. The right help at the right time can save your business and your sanity. Success is a team sport, so play it that way. Law number 13, reinvest your profits. So when money does start coming in, it's tempting to celebrate. I made it, let's spend. But the wealthy think differently. They plow money back into growth. Warren Buffett insists on this. When you first make money, you may be tempted to spend it. Don't. Instead, reinvest the profits. Whether it's profits from your business or returns from stocks, feed it back into your wealth machine. This is how small ventures become empires. I did this with my first company. When we landed our first deal, I didn't go buy a car. I poured in the scale in the business, which later allowed me to sell and truly cash in. Reinvesting is how Buffett turned a pinball machine side hustle into a stock portfolio. Each round of profits bought more assets, which produced even more profit. It's a cycle. Earn, invest, earn more. On the flip side, if you spend all you make, you kill the compound growth and go back to zero. So celebrate your wins, yes, but then put that money back to work. Delay the gratification a little longer and watch your wealth snowball. Law number 14, take calculated risks and embrace failure. No risk, no reward. It's a cliche, but it's true. Getting rich will require you to step out of your comfort zone. So start that business, invest in that property, pitch that big client, even when there's no guarantee of success. In fact, you will screw up along the way, and that is okay. 63% of millionaires admit they took risk and failed at least once in business. But here's the difference. They didn't see failure as the end. It was just data. They learned and kept moving. As the saying goes, winners are not afraid of losing, but losers are. Failure is part of the process of success. People who avoid failure also avoid success. And that was one of the hardest lessons for me. I was afraid to look stupid, to ask dumb questions, to lose money on a strategy that might not work. But every failure, eating beans for lunch for years, failed product launches, interviews that tanked, that taught me something that eventually led to a huge win. So don't be reckless. Do your homework and take calculated risks. But when you feel fear, don't let it stop you. Often that fear is a sign that you're on the right track. Bet on yourself, and if you fall, get back up smarter. Law number 15, be patient. Wealth takes time. We live in a world of instant gratification, but building real wealth is a long game. Too many people try one thing for 6 months, don't become millionaires, and then quit or jump onto the next fad. Don't fall for the get-rich-quick trap. The truth is, most millionaires get rich slowly. In one study, 80% of millionaires were over 50. It took them decades of consistent effort to hit 7 figures. Saver investors took an average of 32 years to reach millionaire status. Even fast-track entrepreneurs took 12 years on average. The media loves to highlight the 22-year-old crypto billionaires, but that's the exception, not the rule. Embrace the process. Commit to the long haul. This doesn't mean it has to take 30 years for you. The timeline can accelerate with smart decisions, but it won't happen overnight. Set longer-term goals and keep grinding. Remember, compound interest needs time to work its magic. That's law number 7. Each of you persist, your knowledge, your network, and your assets compound too. Patience isn't just a virtue in wealth building, it's a strategic advantage. Law number 16, leverage. Multiply yourself through others. Here's a harsh truth. You will never get truly wealthy trading only your own time and effort. There are only 24 hours in a day and only one of you. The rich scale up by leveraging other people's time, their talent, their resources. That means hiring, delegating, automating, building a team and systems that make money even when you're not personally doing the work. So I learned this in running my YouTube channel. For years, I was in front of the camera, I was behind the camera, I was doing everything myself, and I was hesitant to spend money on help. I grew up without a ton of money, and maybe I was too cheap at first, but once I hired my first part-time editor, boom, I went from 1 video a week to 1 a day, which then brought in more money. Leverage. Similarly in business, the moment I started bringing in partners and employees who are smarter than me money in their areas, our growth started to explode. According to research, over 80% of millionaires rely on a team of smart people, attorneys, accountants, advisors, to help achieve their vision. So ask yourself, what tasks or expertise can you leverage from others to scale up? It could be as simple as hiring a virtual assistant for $10 an hour to free you up to make $100 an hour, or partnering with someone who has skills or contacts that you lack. Yes, it can cost money to hire good people, but not hiring when you need to is far costlier. Build your dream team. Law number 17, take action. Speed beats perfection. The money goes to those who do, not those who wait. One thing I see holding entrepreneurs back is analysis paralysis. They plan and polish and procrastinate, and opportunities pass them by. The wealthy have a bias for action. They do the best research they can, then pull the trigger. Jeff Bezos calls it the bias for action and credits much of Amazon's success to it. Warren Buffett calls unnecessary waiting thumb-sucking and pushes himself to make decisions swiftly when he has enough facts. The point is, you can't steer a parked car. You have to start moving. Want to invest in stocks? Open the account and put in a small amount today. Learn as you go. Have a business idea? Launch a simple version of it right now, even if it's not perfect. You will refine through real-world feedback. Money loves speed, not reckless, stupid speed, but the momentum that comes from decisive action. Action precedes clarity. So the law is, do it before you feel 100% ready. An average plan executed today beats a perfect plan never executed. Start, stumble, learn, adjust, but start. Law number 18, know your numbers, track your money. You wouldn't drive a car blindfolded, right? So don't drive your finances that way too. Ignorance is extremely expensive. Wealthy people are keenly aware of their numbers. They know their income, their expenses, their profit margins, their tax liabilities, the investment returns, at least the key figures at all times. You need to become the CFO of your own life. You make a budget, update it regularly, and review where your money is going. You can use apps or spreadsheets, chalk on a board, whatever works for you, but track it. If you're an entrepreneur, this is even more critical because poor cash flow management kills 82% of small businesses. When I started, I used Microsoft Money software to track my business finances, and my early accounting was a total disaster until I learned how to prioritize it. And once I did, I found ways to save on taxes and get unexpected refunds that boosted my cash flow. That's the reward for paying attention. The law here is what gets measured gets managed. When you track, you naturally start optimizing. You spot wasteful spending. You find opportunities to save or invest, and you avoid nasty surprises. So open those bank statements, know your credit score, set a weekly date with your money. Yes, I'm serious. Your bank account should never be a mystery. Law number 19, give and you shall receive. This might sound more spiritual, but it's hard-nosed success strategy too. Generosity breeds prosperity. The wealthiest people I know are givers. They donate to charities. They mentor others. They create opportunities for the people that are around them. Why? Because what you put out into the world comes back to you multiplied. Zig Ziglar said it best. You can have everything in life you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want. And it's true. When you operate from a mindset of service and generosity, you build an army of allies. People open doors for you. Clients refer to you. Your reputation starts to shine. Even on a practical level, generosity expands your network and skills. So volunteer in an organization and meet influential people. Mentor someone and you often learn from the teaching. Also, giving keeps you humble and hungry. It reminds you that wealth has a purpose to improve lives, including your own. And here's a little secret. Giving money away can actually make you feel wealthier. It breaks the fear that money is scarce. Of course, be smart. Don't give beyond your means, but make generosity a line item in your life. It could be money or time or knowledge. Nearly 3 of 4 millionaires in a study volunteered at least 5 hours a month, and many actively mentored others. Coincidence? I don't think so. The more you give, the more you grow. It's a law. And law number 20, stay humble and stay hungry. Money is a moving target. The game doesn't end when you hit some magic number. To not only get rich, but to stay rich, you must keep your ego in check and your drive alive. Success can be a sedative the moment you think, I've made it. You start to slip. Remember Bill Gates' warning, success is a lousy teacher. It seduces smart people into thinking they can't lose. So don't fall for that trap. The greats, the Buffetts, the Oprahs, they never stop learning. They never stop pushing. They act like beginners even when they are masters. For me, the belief game never ends. Despite all the subscribers and the business, I still wake up as a student. I still want to get better every day. So celebrate your wins, yes, but stay curious and grounded. Keep setting the next goal, setting the next challenge. And importantly, stay grateful. Humility also means recognizing the role that others have played and some luck in your success. It keeps you from doing something dumb and losing it all out of arrogance. The hungry, humble entrepreneur will run circles around the complacent one who's resting on his laurels. Money has a way of disappearing from those who take it for granted. So no matter how well you're doing, adhere to these laws. Keep growing, keep giving, and keep believing. A quick final thought. You've just learned 20 laws, but knowledge alone won't change your life. Action will. Pick one law today and start living it. Maybe it's setting up that savings account. Maybe it's calling that mentor. Maybe it's finally launching that product. Remember, every big success is just an accumulation of small, consistent wins. You showing up for this, absorbing these strategies, that already sets you apart from the masses who are still looking for easy answers. And so I want to acknowledge you for being here right now and investing in yourself. Now get out there and do the work. Apply these laws and build the wealth and life that you deserve. And congratulations, you're one video closer to who you're meant to be. Believe. Next, let's learn how Robert Kiyosaki built wealth from nothing. In 1985, Robert Kiyosaki and his wife hit rock bottom. They were homeless, living out of a beat-up brown Toyota with exhausted credit cards and just a few dollars to their name. Each night, those car seats were their bed, and every morning they faced the gnawing fear of an uncertain future. Their situation was so desperate that a friend eventually offered them a basement room, and they lived in that tiny basement for 9 months just to get back on their feet. Imagine the pressure, mid-30s, penniless, feeling like a complete failure. Kiyosaki's dream of becoming rich was on the line, and the easy choice would have been to give up. But here's what happened next. By 1989, just 4 years later, Robert and Kim Kiyosaki were self-made millionaires thanks to smart investments in a booming real estate market. And by 1994, at ages 47 and 37, they never had to work another day in their lives. He went from living in a car to achieving financial freedom in under a decade. Maybe you're thinking, sure, but Robert got lucky. He had a once-in-a-lifetime real estate boom. He wrote a best-selling book. He's not me. Stop. Luck didn't make him rich. His mindset and his choices did. He wasn't born into wealth or connections. 80% of millionaires are first generation and earned their wealth on their own. The difference is that he refused to accept being broke as a life sentence. Kiyosaki likes to say, broke is temporary, poor is eternal. He treated his broke state as a temporary challenge, not his identity. He focused on changing his situation, not complaining about it. And he followed principles that anyone can follow, regardless of their background, including you. The only thing that separates you from the Robert Kiyosakis of the world is the story that you're telling yourself. And we're about to change that story right now. Here's how Robert Kiyosaki built wealth from absolutely nothing and how you can too. Let's break it down. Develop a wealthy mindset. Decide you won't stay broke. Every self-made success starts with a decision. Long before the money came, Kiyosaki made a decision that he would be rich. As a young man, he absorbed two very different mindsets from his rich dad and his poor dad. One taught him to chase opportunity, the other to cling to security. He chose the rich mindset. He learned that how you think about money matters more than how much you have right now. This is where you need to start. Decide that being broke is a temporary state, not who you are. Kiyosaki believed fiercely that he would become wealthy, even when he was sleeping in that car. That belief shaped his decisions instead of his fear. He ignored the naysayers, including that little voice of doubt, and kept his eyes on a wealthy future. As he famously said, poor dad lived in fear and never escaped the rat race, while rich dad taught him that the poor and middle class work for money, but the rich have money work for them. That mindset shift from earning to creating wealth starts with you deciding to adopt it. Remember, 80% of millionaires started with nothing. The ones who made it simply believed that they could. Kiyosaki himself warns that the one thing that holds all of us back is some degree of self-doubt. So ask yourself, are you going to let that self-doubt win, or will you choose right now to believe that you deserve to be wealthy and start thinking like a rich person? Commit to the wealthy mindset. That decision costs $0, but it's the foundation for every dollar you'll ever earn. Invest in financial education and mentors. Knowledge is the new money. When you have no money, knowledge is your greatest asset. Robert Kiyosaki didn't stumble into wealth blindly. He sought out mentors and education early. As a kid, he had his best French father, that's his rich dad, teach him lessons about money that school never did. He learned how the wealthy think about taxes, assets, and investing, while other kids were just thinking about their next allowance. That gave him a huge head start. But here's the key. You don't need a personal rich dad to start your financial education. We live in a time when the world's knowledge is available at your fingertips. Books, videos like this, courses, use them. Kiyosaki often says, money without financial intelligence is money soon gone. In other words, if you somehow get rich quick but lack financial savvy, you will lose it. He knew that earning money was pointless if he didn't know how to keep and grow it. So he devoured financial education. He learned accounting basics, studied real estate, and soaked up advice from self-made millionaires. If you're starting from zero, commit to learning every single day. It costs you nothing. Read Rich Dad Poor Dad to start shifting your perspectives on money. Read other personal finance classics. You can study entrepreneurs who built themselves up. We feature them a lot on this channel. I often share how mentorship changed my life. Without a mentor or model, I failed. With them, I succeeded. In fact, I spent 5 years struggling in my YouTube business until I found a mentor who had built companies before, and that's when everything exploded. Model success. If you can't sit down with a multimillionaire in person, do it through books and videos. Make self-education your daily ritual. A well-known study found that 80% of millionaires read at least 50 books a year, many of them about business or self-improvement. They never stop learning because every new piece of wisdom is a tool that can make you money. So start thinking of knowledge as your currency. Kiyosaki built his fortune on ideas and strategies that he learned over decades. What you know will determine how far you go. And if you're truly committed, find a real mentor or community, surround yourself with people who have done what you want to do. And remember, the best investments when you're broke is not stocks or crypto, it's in your own mind. So fill it with knowledge that can make you rich. Start small and seize opportunities. Use creativity, not cash. Don't have the money? Then you need to get creative and resourceful. When Robert Kiyosaki had little, he didn't sit around waiting for a miracle check. He started where he was. His very first business idea came from noticing a simple problem at the beach. He saw that surfers had no good place to keep their wallets while they were surfing. So at age 30, he started a company to make nylon Velcro surfer wallets. The product took off. It even got featured in Playboy and Newsweek and made him a millionaire on paper by age 30. The business eventually failed, and we'll get to that later, but the lesson is priceless. He acted on an opportunity he saw with basically no money down. He didn't overthink it or wait until he had a trust fund. He identified a need and moved quickly. How many opportunities are you missing because you think, I have no money, so I can't? The truth is, when you're starting from nothing, your hustle and your creativity are your capital. So maybe you can't buy a rental property yet, but you can find someone who needs help selling their product and take a commission. Maybe you can't launch a factory, but you can start an online side hustle with just your phone. The opportunities are there, but you have to train yourself to see them and grab them. Kiyosaki teaches that the faster you can make a decision, the more likely you'll seize opportunities before someone else does. Successful entrepreneurs aren't necessarily the smartest or the richest starting out. They're the ones who take action while others sit on the sidelines. Even science agrees that being proactive matters. Research shows that people who actively pursue goals and opportunities tend to create more luck for themselves through their network and efforts. So, challenge yourself to start right now. With what you have. Ask, what value can I create today with my current resources and skills? Kiyosaki began with a simple product idea. Maybe your start is offering a service or freelancing or selling your items from your closet to get some initial cash, something to get in the game. And use OPM, other people's money and other people's resources when possible. When Kiyosaki later moved into real estate investing, he often used loans and investor money to acquire new properties. He proved the concept. It doesn't take money to make money. It takes courage to move and a keen eye for value. So stop saying, I can't afford it, and start asking, how can I afford it? That simple change in question opens your brain to solutions. The world is full of opportunities disguised as problems. So start small, start smart, and start right now. Money follows momentum. You create that momentum by seizing opportunities, not by waiting for the perfect conditions. Persevere through failures, turn setbacks into motivation. Robert Kiyosaki's journey was filled with failures. Remember those surfer wallets that made him a young millionaire at 30? That company went bankrupt shortly after because he hadn't secured his patents. He had to watch his early success crumble. Did he quit? No. He started a new business licensing rock band t-shirts, and that company went bankrupt too. He tried his hand at investments and ended up nearly $1 million in debt in the 1980s. By the time he was sleeping in that car, he had failed multiple times in business. Most people would have thrown in the towel right there, but Kiyosaki didn't. He later said that being broke and desperate taught him more than any fancy education could. He was learning from every failure. And this perseverance is a trait of virtually every self-made millionaire. In fact, studies show that grit, which is the ability to persevere towards long-term goals, is a better predictor of success than IQ or talent. Psychologist Angela Duckworth found that those who stick it out through setbacks outrank the quitters, even if they aren't as gifted on paper. And Kiyosaki embodies this grit. He once said, "Each push is life saying, wake up, there's something I want you to learn." Every time life knocked him down, he asked, what's the lesson, instead of why me? That's the mindset you need when you face failure, and you will face failure. Look at any successful entrepreneur's track record, and you'll usually find bankruptcies, broken deals, false starts. It's said the average millionaire goes bankrupt 3.5 times in their life. Think about that. The difference between those millionaires and everyone else is that they didn't stop on failure number one. They treated failure as a data point, not a dead end for them. Kiyosaki is a prime example. He failed fast. He learned fast. When his businesses collapsed, he analyzed what went wrong, lack of patents, wrong partnerships, etc., and he adjusted. He didn't let those failures define him or steal his belief. And eventually, his persistence paid off pretty spectacularly. He likes to say, the size of your success is measured by the strength of your desire, the size of your dream, and how you handle disappointment along the way. So ask yourself, how are you handling disappointment? Do you retreat or do you use it as motivation? When your project flops or your idea gets rejected, you have two choices. You give up or you do what Kiyosaki did and come back smarter. Learn the lesson and try again. This is how you build the resilience muscle. And here's the beautiful thing. Every failure that you go through makes you a little less afraid for the next round. You realize that failure won't kill you, but quitting will kill your dream. Kiyosaki failed forward. Each mistake brought him closer to the strategy that worked. You must do the same. Embrace the setbacks as part of the process. Remember, people who avoid failure also avoid success. Make money work for you. Build assets and passive income. The ultimate key to how Kiyosaki built lasting wealth is this. He stopped trading time for money and started making money work for him. When you're broke, you initially trade time for money to survive. You get a job, you grind. Kiyosaki did that as a young man in the Marines and later in sales, but he realized that a job alone would never make him rich, which was his goal. It would just pay the bills. So he shifted focus to building assets, things that generate income even when he isn't personally working. In the late 1980s, with very little capital, Robert and Kim began investing in real estate. They started small with 1 or 2 properties during a time when the market was down. And over the next few years, as the real estate market boomed, those properties appreciated and threw off rental income. By 1989, the Kiyosakis were officially millionaires from their real estate investments. How did they do it? They reinvested every spare dollar into buying more assets, more apartment units, more property, instead of splurging on luxuries. They lived cheaply. Remember, they even lived in a friend's basement for 9 months just to save money, so they could pour money into their investments. This is what Kiyosaki means by pay yourself first. Invest in assets before you pay everyone else. Here's a simple definition that he gives. An asset puts money in my pocket. A liability takes money out of my pocket. So he doubled down on acquiring assets and cut out his liabilities. He didn't buy a fancy car or a big house until those assets could pay for them on autopilot. By 1994, their passive income from assets was exceeding their living expenses, which meant financial freedom. Kiyosaki never had to work again if he didn't want to, because his money was now doing the work for him. You need to aim for the same thing. It won't happen overnight, but you can start today, no matter how small. Start building your asset column. Now, maybe that means saving up a few thousand and buying a vending machine that generates $200 a month, or investing in dividend stocks, or creating a digital product that you can sell online. The idea is to create sources of income that aren't tied to your hours worked. Kiyosaki expanded beyond real estate too. He created the Rich Dad brand, wrote books, and even a board game called Cash Flow, all of which became assets generating royalties and income streams. He even turned his books into high-ticket seminar businesses to further multiply his income. The takeaway for you isn't to run out and start a seminar company. It's to think about how you can monetize your knowledge and your skills in more scalable ways. So could you start a YouTube channel or an online course in your expertise? Could you partner in a business where you own equity? Always ask, is there something that can make money for me even when I'm sleeping? And if it's yes, that's an asset to build. If not, find a way to turn it into one. And remember Kiyosaki's fundamental lesson from Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The rich buy assets, the poor buy liabilities. Every time you get $1, you face a choice. Invest it into something that will bring more dollars in, or spend it on something that won't. Kiyosaki built wealth from nothing by consistently choosing to invest in his future rather than inflate his lifestyle prematurely right now. Do the same. Even if you're starting with $10, allocate part of it to your future wealth. Put it in a stock index fund. Use it to launch a small side hustle. Anything that grows. And over time, these small seeds become a forest. This is how you escape the paycheck to paycheck trap. The goal is passive income exceeding your expenses. When you hit that, work then becomes optional. Kiyosaki hit it and never looked back. It's not magic, it's a formula. Spend less than you earn and invest the difference consistently into assets. If you can master that discipline, even when you have very little, you'll gradually snowball your wealth. Money will start flowing to you from your investments, not just your labor. That's when you truly go from nothing to something big. As Kiyosaki puts it, once a dollar goes into your asset column, it becomes your employee. The best thing about money is that it works 24 hours a day and can work for generations. Start putting your money to work for you, no matter how small the amount. And one day, you'll wake up to a fortune that you created. Your turn. From nothing to something. You've just followed the journey of a man who started with nothing and created a life of wealth. And now it's about you. The difference between just watching this video and living the life of your dreams comes down to one word: action. You showed up today, you learned, and that already sets you apart from your friends. Now keep that momentum going. Apply these lessons with conviction. Remember that every legendary success story, including yours, starts with a single step forward in faith. So I want to acknowledge you for being here and doing the work. It proves that you are the type of person who won't let excuses define your future. Keep going. Keep believing. Now let's learn how anyone can learn to invest. Investing is not a talent reserved for the rich. It's a skill you have to learn or you'll stay broke. Every self-made investor started with zero knowledge and had to figure it out through learning and effort. If you keep waiting for someone else to show you how to invest, you'll be stuck watching opportunities pass you by while others multiply their money. At 19 years old, Warren Buffett got rejected by his dream school. He had applied to Harvard Business School, and they told him he wasn't good enough. Buffett was crushed. He thought this rejection might derail his ambitions before they even began. But instead of giving up, he found another path. He discovered that his hero, Benjamin Graham, was teaching at Columbia University. Buffett applied to Columbia last minute, got accepted, and eagerly soaked up everything Graham had to offer. In one cold Saturday, Buffett took a train to Washington, D.C. and literally pounded on the door of a little insurance company called Geico just to learn more. A janitor let him in, and Buffett ended up getting a 4-hour crash course from a Geico executive. No one has ever received a better half-day course, Buffett said. That one bold move led to Buffett's first big investment profit. He made about a 50% gain on Geico stock within a year. The point is, Buffett felt a burning urgency to learn everything about investing. He didn't wait for a teacher to come to him. He hunted down knowledge. The pressure he felt to prove himself, to seize the opportunity to learn, is the same pressure that you're feeling right now. When I was 19, I partnered in my first company. It was a biotech software. I worked 12 hours a day and earned almost no money. I was making about $300 a month and eating the same cheap bean salad for lunch every day. Month after month, nothing worked. After 9 months without a single win, my confidence had collapsed. One day I picked up the phone, I called my business partner, and said the words I never thought I'd say. I quit. The moment I hung up, I broke down sobbing. I never felt like such a failure. I'd always seen myself as a fighter, not a quitter, yet there I was, quitting. I barely slept that night. I was heartbroken and thinking I'd just thrown away my dream. But by morning, a new feeling hit me. Regret. I imagine looking back years later, knowing that I gave up, and the pain felt even worse than my pain to feeling. So I swallowed my pride, went back to my partner, and asked if I could undo my mistake. It'd be great to take me back. But I knew I couldn't just return to doing the same things. I needed a new strategy. Instead of trying to figure it all out by myself, I studied how Bill Gates built Microsoft through partnerships. I stopped trying to reinvent the wheel and modeled someone who had already succeeded. Within 3 weeks, we landed a $13,500 deal. After months of almost zero income, $13,500 felt like $1 million. And that one deal saved our business. We kept using that strategy, grew the business to success, and eventually sold the company. I learned one of the most important lessons of my life. When you feel like quitting, that's the moment you must push yourself to learn to try something new. Under that pressure of failure, I finally opened up to learning from others, and it changed everything. Now, maybe you're still thinking, well, that sounds great for Buffett or for you, Evan, but I have no idea where to start. I'm not a financial genius. I seriously need someone to help me or I'll mess this up. In fact, one of you, Vishal Bardi, a subscriber, asked me point blank, can anyone help me learn investing? And I get it. When you're new, it feels like you're stumbling in the dark and you desperately want a guide. You might think you need a finance degree or a mentor holding your hand, or you're worried that you'll lose money because you don't know what you're doing. But thinking that is exactly what is holding you back. If you keep believing that you're helpless without an expert, you're giving away your power. The truth is you have more resources at your fingertips today than Warren Buffett did at 19, than I did when I got started. The only permission you need to start learning is your own. Others can help through videos, interviews, books, but nobody can do your push-ups for you. For every excuse you have, I'm not good with numbers, I don't have a mentor, I might fail, there's someone out there with the same obstacle who went out and learned investing anyway. If a broke teenager in Omaha could knock on doors to learn finance, if a struggling entrepreneur could model a billionaire strategy to save his business, why not you? The moment you stop waiting for help and start helping yourself, you'll realize you're not as lost as you think. So let's break this down. Here's how you can take charge and learn investing no matter where you're starting from. Shift your mindset. Anyone can learn investing. The first thing you must do is believe that you can learn this. If you think investing is only for math geniuses or Wall Street wizards, think again. One of the most powerful investing stories is about a man named Ronald Reed, a janitor from Vermont who quietly amassed an $8 million fortune by the time he died in 2014. He had no fancy degree, no high-paying job. He simply saved and invested consistently over his lifetime. His friends were stunned, but the message is anyone can be a great investor. In his book, The Psychology of Money, Morgan Housel uses Reed's story to drive home that successful investing isn't about social status or IQ, it's about mindset and behavior. Modern psychology backs us up. The research on growth mindset shows that if you believe skills can be developed, you perform better and go further. And investing is no exception. It's a set of skills you can improve with study and practice, not some innate talent you either have or you don't. Billionaire investor Charlie Munger put it like this: I constantly see people rise in life who are not the smartest, but they are learning machines. They go to bed every night a little wiser than they were when they got up. So becoming a learning machine is far more important than having a high IQ or making one lucky trade. Adopt the identity of a student of investing. Commit to being the person who reads, who asks questions, who tries things. Did you know that in a 5-year study of rich people's habits, 88% of self-made millionaires reported that they read for at least 30 minutes every day to educate themselves? They weren't born knowing how money works. They devoured knowledge daily until it started to click. Warren Buffett, one of the richest investors on the planet, famously said that he reads 500 pages a day because that's how knowledge works. It builds up like compound interest. And he added that anyone can do it, but most people won't. So you can prove him wrong. Start viewing yourself as a lifelong learner of finance. You don't have to read 500 pages today, but do read something. Replace the thought, I can't learn investing, with I'm learning investing every day. Every expert was once a beginner who decided to learn. And so embrace that mindset today. Model the masters. Learn from the great investors. The fastest way to learn investing is to stand on the shoulders of giants. You don't have to invent a strategy from scratch. You can model the masters. I built my YouTube channel on this idea. Success leaves clues. In my own life, modeling Bill Gates' partnership strategy saved my business. In the investing world, the giants have left roadmaps in the forms of books and letters and interviews. Seek them out. You can start with the classics. Warren Buffett became Warren Buffett by studying others. He read Ben Graham's book, The Intelligent Investor, at age 20, and it changed his life. In fact, Buffett calls The Intelligent Investor by far the best book on investing ever written. So why not read the book the greatest investor used himself? There's a treasure trove of wisdom available to you from investors who've been through it all. Here are a few must-read resources that can kickstart your education. So we talked about The Intelligent Investor by Ben Graham. That's a definitive book on value investing, and Warren Buffett credits this book for shaping his investing philosophy, again, calling it the best book about investing ever written. It will teach you how to think about stocks for the long run and not fall for short-term market swings. Next is One Up on Wall Street by Peter Lynch. It's a read that shows how average people can beat the pros by investing in what they know. So Lynch was one of the most successful mutual fund managers ever, and he writes writes in pretty plain English for beginners. The book proves that your everyday knowledge, the stores that you shop at, the trends you see, can translate into great investments. It's empowering and practical for first-time investors. And third is The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. It's a modern classic on the behavioral side of investing. So Housel's insight is that mastering investing isn't just about what you know, it's about how you think and act. So he shares 19 short stories that show how our mindset and habits impact our financial success. So this book teaches you how to manage your fear, your greed, and impatience, the emotions that most often hurt investors more than a lack of knowledge. So absorb the wisdom from these masters. Read Buffett's annual shareholders letters. They are free and they're online. You can learn how he analyzes businesses. Watch interviews with investors like Ray Dalio or Kathy Wood or Chamath Palihapitiya. We've done top 10s on all of these people to see how they approach decision making. When you study the greats, you're essentially getting mentored by them across time and space. It can collapse your learning curve dramatically. But remember, learning alone isn't enough. You'll need to actually put it into practice, which brings us to the next point. Start small, learn by doing. You can read 100 books on investing, but nothing will teach you faster than actually doing it. It's like learning to ride a bicycle. At some point, you have to hop on and start to pedal. Start small and get your feet wet. Open a brokerage account or even a simulated trading account if you're nervous. And make your first tiny investment. It could be as little as $50 or $100 in an index fund or a company that you believe in. The amount isn't going to make you rich. That's not the point. The point is to turn theory into experience. Studies on learning show that active practice beats passive study by a mile. Educational research illustrates that people retain up to 75% of what they learn when they practice by doing, compared to maybe 10% retention from reading about it. In other words, you could read about investing for a year and still feel unsure. But if you actually invest, even with play money, you start internalizing the lessons. You'll feel the emotional ups and downs of the market, learn how to place orders, and see how you react when the stock you bought drops 10%, which it will at some point. Those experiences are invaluable. They give you feedback that no book or video can fully simulate. So keep your initial stakes small so your early mistakes are cheap. Think of any minor loss as tuition fees in the school of investing, right? Every mistake is showing you what not to do the next time. And nearly every great investor went through a phase of errors and learning. The key is they learned and they didn't quit. And as you gain confidence, you can gradually invest more. Most successful investors begin with basic low-risk portfolios and learn by doing, growing bolder as their knowledge increases. You might start with a simple index fund or a few stocks, and over time, as you study and observe, you'll get better at identifying what makes a good investment for you. And here's a practical approach. Keep an investing journal. Each time you buy or sell something, jot down why you did it. For example, I bought company X because I think their new product will increase profits next year. Or I sold Y because I panicked when it fell 5% in a day. Review these notes periodically. Patterns will emerge and teach you about your own psychology. Maybe you'll see that you sell too quickly out of fear, or that your best decisions were when you stuck to companies that you understand. This internal reflection turns experience into wisdom. And don't be afraid to ask questions and engage with communities. Join an investing forum or find peers who are also learning. Teaching somebody else what you just learned is another powerful way to solidify the knowledge. And remember, there's a learning pyramid. Teaching others has the highest retention. You could share a bit of what you learned from a book or discuss a small investing experiment. It will make you more confident that, hey, I do know a lot of things now. The bottom line is this: action creates clarity. So the fog of I don't know what I'm doing begins to lift as soon as you start placing that first trade or start that first investing project. Suddenly, PE ratios, index funds, dividends, they're not just concepts, they're real things that you're interacting with. Every step you take gives you a little more competence and a little more confidence. So start now with whatever small step you can. Buy one share of that company you admire or set up an automatic transfer of $20 a week into an investment account. Get in the game and learn as you go. Stay consistent for the long term. Remember that investing is a long-term game. The goal isn't to get rich by next Tuesday. It's to build wealth and knowledge steadily year after year. So as you start learning and investing, think of it like a marathon. It's not a sprint. Consistency and patience are your superpowers here. Now, there will be times when you feel discouraged or confused. Maybe the market dips and your portfolio loses some value, or you hit a complex concept that frustrates you. Expect that. It happens to every investor, no matter how experienced. The ones who succeed aren't the ones who never have any doubts. They're the ones who persist through them. Volatility in your emotions and in the market is part of this process. As one investment guide puts it, the market will prove you wrong at times. You will make mistakes. But learning to be a successful investor is a gradual process, and sticking with it for the long run is crucial. So when things go wrong, don't beat yourself up. Analyze it, learn the lesson, and keep moving forward. Remember, every setback is an opportunity to learn. So make a habit of continuous learning and investing. So for example, commit to reading one investing article or a few pages of a book or one video, no matter what. Commit to putting a little money aside every month to invest, no matter what the market is doing. This discipline builds momentum, and over time, your knowledge compounds just like your money does. Think of how compound interest works. A little growth each day can lead to massive growth over years. Knowledge compounds too. Every new thing you learn builds on the last and expands your ability to make good decisions. So 5 years from now, if you stay consistent, you'll look back and be amazed at how far you've come, both in your portfolio and in your understanding. It also helps to keep your why in mind. Why do you want to learn investing in the first place? Is it to secure your family's future? You want to achieve financial freedom? You want to not feel clueless when money decisions come up? Whatever it is, write it down. Think about it. In tough moments, revisit your why. It can help give you more patience. When you know you're in this for the long haul, the day-to-day bumps don't shake you as much. You start thinking like an investor who asks, what will this be worth in 5 or 10 years, instead of panicking over today's news. And one more reminder. Celebrate your progress, not perfection. Did you finish reading your first investment book? Awesome. Did you make your first profitable trade, even if it was only a $20 gain? Amazing, right? These are milestones. By acknowledging them, you reinforce the identity that you are an investor now, a learner. You're a doer. You're someone who actively is building their future. And that identity shift, that becomes everything. You're no longer the person wondering, can anyone help me learn investing? You're the person who is helping yourself learn it every single day. You made it this far in a video, which tells me that you're serious about your financial future. Every investing master was once a beginner who simply refused to give up, and now you're on the same path. So keep feeding your mind, keep taking action, no matter how small, and be proud that you're doing what most people only talk about. By showing up and learning today, you've already set yourself apart from most people. To learn how to land higher tier clients to fund your mission, check the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there. Most entrepreneurs have big missions. You want to change your industry or even the world, but far too often we aim too low and hold ourselves back. I recently coached an entrepreneur who was playing small in his business.